The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB TV.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show.
Hello?
Yes, I have the incredible Nathan Forrest Winters with us today. He's such an amazing man and has gone through so much and is still going and helping people and is just really such an incredible person. And we have a lot to talk with him today. So once again, we have Nathan Forrest Winters. So hi, Nathan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Corey?
I am great. Like I said, it's such an honor to have you on. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. It's been about almost, not quite a year, but pretty close on.
Yeah. We're getting up there.
Yeah, it's been quite an experience this last several months since we last talked. As you know, Connor and I finished the documentary.
Yes.
And looking forward to a possible premiere in November with that. So we're super stoked, and just been really busy trying to get everything together for that.
Awesome. Yeah, so let's actually talk about the documentary, because it's such an important thing, and people wanted to deny it and hide it for years, but you're so strong, and you brought more attention to it and are helping people that have been victims of this. So why don't you talk about the babysitter and exactly what it is and the experience with it?
I'm sorry, you cut out that last part. Talk about
the babysitter and your experience with everything.
My experience with the documentary?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been incredible. We've had a lot of support, which is, really what gets us out of bed in the morning, in a lot of ways, because, again, this is really more for other victims and survivors and non-victims to be aware of what's really going on, and to be aware that this is such a horrible issue that our culture has, and is also it's been an experience, and the emotional side of it has been very it's basically, I was not expecting certain aspects of like insecurities and things like that to resurface after all these years. But again, it's been a healing process, and it's been very rewarding knowing that this film is going to help a lot of people, and that's really what Connor and I set out to do, this film our way, without any kind of influence from anyone outside the two of us, and so it's very raw, and I honestly, I'm a perfectionist to the max, and I can honestly say that we could not have done a better job with the tools we had, the time we had to, because he's been on the East Coast, like in Virginia, and I'm over on the West Coast, so it's just been a process trying to even cut the film and edit it and score it, because I did all the music for it, so it was like this whole process that we had to troubleshoot and kind of just roll with it and figure it out, and it took a while, but we got it done, and so both of us are just like super excited that it's finally it's done, and that we're gonna be able to share this with people, and hopefully really open some eyes and open some hearts.
No, absolutely, and I think that's why it's so amazing that you are doing this, because what you went through is just horrifying, and I couldn't even imagine, and I think a lot of people couldn't imagine, and there's unfortunately many victims of this, and I think it's really important that you brought attention to it to show that these victims are not alone, and then to put people that have, thank God, never been in that situation, but to understand it more and to watch out for the signs and be more aware, because it's happening all the time and you don't want to think it's happening, but it is. It's a constant thing, and it's not just in Hollywood, it's everywhere. So I think it's really important that you are bringing attention to this and telling your story.
Hey, Corey,
Yes.
I don't know if anything can be done, but I'm getting maybe 1 or 2 words out of
Oh,
every
okay.
15.
Is this a little better? I'm going to try and get closer. Is this a little better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that. But no, I was just saying, truly, I think it's such an important thing that you are doing this and that you're helping victims that are scared or have been through a lot or maybe not have a lot of support with it. And you're bringing attention to it and showing that they're not alone. And unfortunately, it's a very big problem that's going on. So I think it's amazing you're telling your story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It means to me. And thing that I think people are unaware of. I just don't think that, it's been such a horrible thing for an adult or a parent to imagine, something like this happening to your child.
Right.
As a parent, I know that, it's like I have these automatic, firewalls built in to where, my mind will not allow it to go there, to imagine someone doing that to my child. So it's kind of like this thing that has been, that we're all aware of it, but we're all ignoring the elephant in the room, kind of, and
Exactly.
that's not helping it. It's actually, in fact, it's perpetuating the issue, and it's making the job of these predators much easier to prey on the children and to successfully, destroy these children's childhood. And so, as a survivor of this, and one that has been given the amount of attention that my situation has, I feel like there's no choice in it, really. I have no choice. It's an obligation I have to protect as an adult, as a parent. It's my obligation, it's my duty to protect children. And so, again, that's really where this is all coming from, is the raising awareness of it is very important. In fact, we are running a GoFundMe campaign right now, which is GoFundMe.com/Taking Action Breaking Silence, or TABS, the acronym. And the reason that is the TABS is we're keeping tabs. We are, definitely looking into other instances and cases, and doing this in such a public way. I'm receiving calls and stories of people that have gone through similar things, or that, maybe it's a man in his 40s that's never told anyone in his life until hearing my story, and then, wanted to tell me his for the first time. So we are actively, that's the take action part, actively getting people to be involved and to be aware of what's going on, and to be, a positive contributor to finding a solution, to finding healing for people that need it. And then the breaking silence is the fact that these predators leave these children with this dirty secret, this dark little secret, and all the guilt and the shame that shrouds their hearts afterwards, is really, I want to provide a living example of that there is healing in the wake of abuse, that, that this is available for all of you. It's available for anyone that's willing to basically return that pain, return that shame and guilt to the people that truly own it, because the child or the adult victim that's living with that secret still, it's not theirs. It's you don't own that. Give it back to the perpetrator, back to the victimizer, and free yourself and heal. And so, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And so I just hope that, we can be loud enough for the entire world to hear, and to, want to make people help find a solution, to stop turning a deaf ear and a blind eye to this situation, and actually recognize the elephant in the room and call it out to the center of the room, and so we can all, start figuring out how to change it, how to make it better.
Yeah. And how did you and Connor actually meet and agree to do this film? Because it's like I said, it's such an important topic, and it's really needed. And unfortunately, there's not really anything else out there quite like it. So I think this will be really groundbreaking. How did you guys actually meet and agree to do this?
Well, we so throughout the years, since basically in '96, I believe it was, or towards the end of '96, I protested Victor Salva's film Powder because it was produced by Disney, and so from that point on, over the years, when he puts out a new movie or whatever, I've gotten several offers, countless offers for books and all sorts of stuff, and at some point or another, there's always been like some sort of sign on the dotted line and kind of sell out, pitch. And I can't do that. I will not do that. We'll never sell out victims or survivors or children. And so I've turned down all these offers. And then here comes this 20-year-old, young guy, gets a hold of me on Facebook and starts talking to me about how he's been, a fan of Victor's until he found out what he had done to me. And so we kind of started to investigate a little bit more and went on these horror fan sites and saw that there was still this community, huge community of people out there discussing my abuse, and people out there standing up for me, and then the opposition out there like saying, oh, well, Victor served his debt, it was only a one-time inappropriate touching incident, and like basically continuing the lie that they have been telling since day one, like one of the main things was Mike Eisner from Disney saying that it was a one-time inappropriate touching incident between an adult and a consenting minor back when I was protesting Powder. So there was still this huge misconception and a huge, mystery of what happened to Nathan Forrest Winters. And so Connor, was looking into that and decided to look me up and found me on Facebook and just came to me and said, look, this is what it is. And, I want to help you tell your story, that people still want to know what happened. People need to know the truth. And, I want to help you tell your story. I don't want any affiliation with Hollywood. I want to do this totally independently, just you and me. And, it was right on point. It was enough of the answers, or enough of the questions that I had were answered close enough to where I knew that this was what I've been waiting for. This was who I was waiting for. And so that's how we met. And from there, it just, it grew. And then as soon as 2 months after we made that decision is when the Harvey Weinstein case broke loose. And so it's just been this kind of opening of the door for us to do this documentary and to have it received well. So it's been a blessing.
Oh, yeah. And I know you said a lot of other victims have reached out to you and everything, and survivors. They've reached out to you. Have any celebrities reached out and maybe want to help with this film or help contribute in any other way? Because like you said, it's not just Hollywood. It's literally everywhere, and it's happening every day, every minute, unfortunately. But I think maybe other celebrity victims can even help promote this film even more and really bring attention to this. Have any of them gotten a hold of you?
To some degree, like for the campaign, An Open Secret, which is the most well-known documentary, as far as I know, to date about pedophilia in Hollywood. And the producer, Gabe Hoffman, really nice guy, went on and said that he would match all donations, and it was over like a 5-day period that he said he would match all donations, that he, basically openly supports my cause and supports what I'm doing and supports the documentary. So that was awesome. It was unexpected and it was totally awesome. As far as celebrities and stuff, not so much have any really come forward, and I encourage any and all to do so. In fact, right now I've just begun a YouTube series with a gentleman by the name of Bobby Wolf, and it's called Monster Hunters with Winters and Wolf. And what we've created with this show is a platform for other victims and survivors to have a safe place where they can come tell their stories. And it can be anonymous if you need it to be, or you can tell people your name, basically we are wanting to provide an umbrella as well that people can feel safe telling their stories and getting, their stories out there and feeling that elation that you get when you finally let go of that dark secret. Like that's the beginning stages towards healing, is letting go of that secret and letting go of that ownership that you inherit of this pain and of this shame. So it's a really excellent show. So far, we had a gentleman by the name of Scott Kirk come on, and he told us of his abuse at 10 years old. And then the second show, we had Isaac Cappy, who came on and told his story and really opened a lot of eyes. And so it's an excellent show. I encourage everybody to watch it. It's on Bobby Wolf's YouTube channel. And we do at least an hour a week. We're trying to do more, but things are pretty crazy still.
Of course.
But yeah, again, it's something that we've encouraged any celebrities out there. In fact, which is kind of leads me back to your question, was that we have openly said that we need any celebrities that are wanting to get off the fence and actually come tell us what they know, like that you can do that here too. So.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about the web series because it does sound like an amazing thing and a great platform, and I think it will be very helpful to a lot of people. So where can people watch that? And if people want to support you in any way on that or tell their story, how can they get in touch with you with that? Because I think that's a very important thing.
Right. So the links to our emails are in the description. And you can just search on YouTube. It's Monster Hunters with Winters and Wolf, and it should pop right up. I think it's right, second on the list or something. But it's like right there. If not, you can always search my name, Nathan Forrest Winters, or Everything Bobby Wolf is the other link, I believe, on the YouTube channel.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I think that's such an important thing, and I really, Nathan, I applaud you for being so outspoken and really such an activist for this, because it's such a huge issue and people don't want to acknowledge it because it's a scary thing and it's heartbreaking and you don't want to think about it. But it's so common and it's just so horrific that it needs to be out there and people need to say, okay, there has to be something we need to do because it's out of hand. It's really completely out of hand.
Completely, yes, absolutely. These predators have gone unchecked for way, way, way too long. It's kind of like our society, our culture has adopted the same kind of sort of mentality that it had back in the 50s and early 60s, where say a husband was very abusive to his wife and children, and she would put on cover up and her sunglasses, and they'd all go to church and put on this facade, this image of like everything is right as rain at home, but really behind closed doors she's getting abused, and what I'm saying. So it's kind of like people have developed that same kind of mentality of just pretending it's not there, and we cannot do that because obviously with everything in the news and in the world right now, continues to show us almost on a daily that like there's so much of it going on that it's like the dam is about to break, the dam's about to burst wide open, and that's kind of what we've been preparing for. That's kind of like we're hoping that this documentary could be that final strike on the dam that actually breaks it loose and then just floods it to where we can start dealing with this right and providing the help that is needed to these victims that need it, that which ties into the nonprofit organization that I've been, in the works of trying to get off the ground. It's just the main focus has been the documentary. So the nonprofit is kind of taking a back seat for now, just until we can get this ball rolling. But we are their voice is the name of the nonprofit. And that's going to be very important because that's ultimately will provide victims, with free therapy. Like I'm looking for anyone that wants to donate time or their profession to this cause. We're looking for that as well. We need people that are willing to answer calls or willing to do therapy sessions for victims. And so, it's really, I'm hoping to create ultimately a network of the rest of the nonprofit organizations out there. Like, we all need to kind of start banding together, like the Me Too movement. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was excellent. My only thing that I saw wrong with it was that they were making this division where there shouldn't be any division.
Right.
I understand that it's a woman's movement, but at the same token, they should not turn away any men, or they should not deny that abuse is abuse is abuse, and we should all be working together to stop abuse.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with that. And I think now they are more evolving with it, and they are bringing more attention to the men that have been assaulted and everything. But yeah, I think hopefully now it does seem like the absolute perfect time to get this ball rolling and to bring more attention and to get the support for this, because it really needs to happen. And like you said, I think with all the movements going on right now and people really being socially aware, I think this documentary and your show will really bring such a light to people and really help this movement going and get something done about this.
Yeah, that would be, if at the very least, if that would happen, I would, when it is my time and I die, I will die a happy and fulfilled man, because I know that I have done everything in my power to make it safer for my children and the coming generations, because really it comes down to that. It comes down to our future as a species is dependent on our children. So if our children are just being raped and murdered and molested and just, thrown to the wolves like they have been for the last couple of decades, what can we expect in our future? And to me, that's a very bleak future where we allow this to happen to our children. And so, if I can do that, then I will die knowing that, it's safer for my children, and that they can, carry on this fight to keep it safe. So yeah, it is excellent time. It's an excellent time, and I feel the world is finally ready to stop ignoring it.
Yeah. And have people been mostly supportive? Have you gotten any threats or hate about this? Because I know, unfortunately, a lot of predators are not going to be happy about this. Have you gotten threats, or has it mostly just been all support at this point?
So far, it's been mostly support. Like, I gotta say, it's completely night and day compared to 20 years ago when I was protesting powder.
Yeah.
It's like night and day. 20 years ago, I was basically chewed up and spit out by the press and on to the next, flavor of the week kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's really not been that way this time at all. I will say that because of certain other factors, like, a certain other actor that has talked about making a documentary and has started a GoFundMe campaign and, has portrayed himself as this activist, an advocate against, child sexual abuse. There's a lot coming to light about this guy, and none of it's really good. And so people are really feeling bamboozled and really feeling like they've been taken. So that's really the main thing that's been a huge struggle for us, being genuinely doing this for the right reasons and doing it because this is the right thing to do. And because it needs to be done. It's been difficult because people are, still feeling that sting of being lied to, and still feeling like, well, this guy's just gonna, he's just gonna, lie to us too, and he's just after money and everything else. So other than that, it's been nothing but support. And even the people that are feeling that bamboozlement and feeling like they've been taken, are still wanting to come and support me. They just aren't really willing to put much effort into it, other than just, saying I'm behind you, so they're not necessarily getting on there and sharing and liking the videos and continuing to, spread this network like a wildfire, because that's what it needs. It needs to spread like wildfire across the dry land, as far as people getting involved and sharing it and telling people at the grocery store, like, look, this is what's going on. Do you know this guy, Nathan Forrest Winters? He's got this documentary, and it really needs to get to that point. And it's been slow going because of others. But other than that, Corey, it's been an awesome experience. It's been so encouraging and heartwarming to know that people are ready for this, that they're ready to make a difference and to change things.
No, I'm very glad to hear that, and I think I don't know who the other actor is or what the situation you were talking about, but you have been saying this for years and years and years, and you have been outspoken about this, and you've been passionate about this for years. So I think people can see that, and they should 100% back you and go full force, because you are serious about this, and you've been trying to get the word out there for years. So I think that maybe, like I said, I don't know the situation, but I think that must be the difference between you and this other person. You do genuinely care about it, and it's very obvious.
Thank you. Yeah, I that's really all I can say or do, is that I would hope that, for anyone listening that is on the fence or thinks that I might be a charlatan, like maybe some others before me, that I will continue to provide an example of my word, that by my actions, not my words. If you look at my actions, if you look at what I've done leading up to now, the last 20 years that I've really been in the public, being an active advocate against child sexual abuse. Look at that, because that speaks louder than any words that I could tell you. And so, that's really where it's at. Is I will continue to provide that. I will continue to be someone that means what I say, and I say what I mean, and and continue to be transparent, because that's the only way that this will work. Is I am transparent, and people can see that I'm genuine and I'm honest, and I'm doing this because somebody has to do it.
No, I couldn't agree more, and I think you're doing that perfectly, and I really think people should 100% go with you and be fully supportive in every single way they possibly can, because I think you're already making such a big difference, and once the documentary comes out, I really hope it will, just like you said, grow like wildfire and just be this whole new giant movement that really needs to happen, because they're children. They're innocent kids that literally they don't know any difference, and it's such a horrible situation, and it's disgusting to even think about, and it needs to stop. It really does. And thank God for people like you that are genuinely bringing attention to this, and Connor, and really helping with this movement and getting this out there, because it's such an important thing.
It really is. And the documentary, it's not as if I want to give any kind of disclaimer or forewarning, but I'm going to say that I'm genuinely, it warms my heart to know that people are so excited to see this film. But I do have to just say this, that it is raw. It is unadulterated. It's basically Connor and me sitting in a hotel room for, 2 weeks, and I'm just kind of pouring it all out there. I'm digging through the darkness to try to recover these memories that had been, drowned in that darkest part of my subconscious, and so it's I don't think that there will be a dry eye in the house when this film premieres, because it's brutal. It is, and I want people to know that, that going into this film, that this is a brutal film. It is. There's nothing like it so far. I did all the music, so it's like Connor's vision mixed with my auditory sort of telling of the story, and it just, it's crushing. It's very crushing, because it gives someone that's never been abused a direct look into the heart of a victim, directly into the mind of a victim, and then even exploring the mind of Victor, and where his mind's at, these predators, like how they can justify this, how they can sleep at night, how they can continue to go on and smile in front of the family of the child that they're doing this to, because I want to stop abuse on all levels. I'm a very firm believer, adamantly every day, if there's an issue that I have personally with my personality or a flaw or something that's going on, I'm feeling a pain because somebody said something to me, I'm not one to cut the weeds off at ground level. The weeds in my life, I do not cut them off at ground level. I will dig and dig and dig until I find the root, and then I uproot it, because that's the only way. And so abuse is the same way, where we have to find the root. We have to, we can't just keep cutting it off at ground level or putting a Band-Aid over it. It has to be addressed on all levels. which takes us back to the fact that, at one point, Victor was a little boy that was being abused, that trusted an adult, and for his love and trust of this adult, he was exploited and abused. We have to remember that. Okay, he is a monster. He is a monster. Make no mistake. What he does to little boys is only a monster could do. But at one point, that monster was a little boy. And so we need to get into the frame of mind of that, of understanding it on all levels so we can find a root and then, hopefully cure this.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool too. I didn't even know the documentary talked about all aspects. I think it's an important thing to understand why this is even an issue and how the predators work. So I think that's really cool. It even talks about that too. So you understand everything, and that's super important.
Yeah. I don't understand everything, Corey. I wish I did.
Right. No.
I did, I think. But yes, I totally get what you're saying, and it's a new approach. Again, this documentary it is very groundbreaking because it's not a conventional, traditional documentary. There's no shots of me sitting in a fold-out chair with a lamp next to me, and somebody behind camera asking me questions. There's none of that. It's literally me sitting there, digging through the memories, trying to recall this, and Connor is just, I can't talk him up enough. Like, the kid is brilliant. He is so far beyond his 21 years as far as his knowledge and his eye for detail and his beauty. Like, it's a beautiful movie too. Like, it really is. The way he cut it and everything is, it was done so well that you would never expect it to have been done on a shoestring budget and with nothing but like every kind of problem you can imagine, from me missing my flight to Virginia and being in the airport for 37 hours before I could get another flight to, it's just been one thing after another to get this thing done, and you would never see that in the film itself. Like, the film is just so well done that you don't get any sense that there was the turmoil that there was, or that this was directed and cut and edited by a 21-year-old guy, so.
No, I'm sure it had to be very therapeutic for you too, to get your whole story out there and finally let the whole world know what actually happened, and to be able to tell it how it really happened in your side. So I think that's really an awesome thing, and I'm sure it had to be very therapeutic for you.
Yeah, it has been. It's like, again, I was saying at the beginning of our conversation that it kind of has drudged up, some things that maybe I thought I had completely overcome, or, that were still right there at the surface, kind of waiting for, a moment of weakness, or waiting for a soft spot to exploit. And, so digging through those memories, and then not only digging through them, but you got to understand, to score the film, I had to watch myself telling these stories over and over and over and over and over and over so many times that it's an unreal process. I can understand why there's not that many directors, or why it's a much smaller part of our population, because it takes a certain kind of person to be able to sit there and watch that same scene 100 times, and so that the other side of that has been, it has drudged up some things that I thought I'd completely overcome, like insecurities and fears and things of that nature. But again, I'm aware of it this time. It's not like it was when I was a kid, 13. It's not like it was when I was 22 doing the powder post tests. It's different now. I'm completely aware of these things coming to the surface, so I'm much more equipped and better able to process them in a healthy and positive way. So, in that sense, it is very healing, because I'm getting rid of all the little, sort of like the cracks that were left after the original process of healing that I've gone through. And so in that sense, it's been completely healing.
Yeah.
And so, it's been great. It has.
Well, I think that's amazing, Nathan. And really, once again, thank you so much for doing this and really bringing the word out and doing your show and the documentary with Connor. Really, thank you for bringing such attention, and it was such an honor to have you back on and talk about this, because it's very eye-opening and very important.
Thank you, Corey. And again, anytime you guys want to have us on, I'm sure Connor and I'd be more than happy to.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan, and I hope you have an amazing day. And I know this documentary is just gonna go incredibly well and just spread all over the place and really gather the attention that it needs to. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Corey.
And thank you guys for listening. Please go check out and support Nathan and Connor and Nathan's show as well, Monster Hunters, as well as The Babysitter, the documentary. It's phenomenal, and it's such an important thing, as we were saying. And in any way you can support, just like he said, by just sharing and talking about it and spreading the word, that's such a huge help. So please go and support in any way you can, and let's get this handled, and let's get this to end, because it's so disgusting and horrific, and it needs to stop. But thank you guys so much for listening, and remember, never give up, always believe, and you'll achieve. Thank you, and God bless.